Well, it's love and marriage this morning for Sunrise in Focus. And what's the secret to staying together for years, even decades?
A study in the United States says it has a lot to do with where you meet and where you live. Let's find out more from our relationships guru, Des Carroy. Des, top of the morning to you.
Good morning.
Now, just how hard is it to stay together?
Well, it can be very difficult depending on, how long you've been together, if you have communication skills. I mean, today especially, because of the pressures in our culture, it causes a lot of difficulty in keeping that longevity going.
Because a lot of people haven't got it, have they? The divorce rate is so high now.
It's higher than ever today also. But there's a great need in people to have that one-on-one depth of communication and longevity in relationship than ever before.
We started thinking about this because of a study in the United States from two university professors who counsel about relationships but have been married for 50 years, celebrated their golden wedding anniversary, and they came up with 5 tips on how to keep the relationship together, and that was meeting in an adventurous setting, keeping the passion alive without mate swapping, having similar biological clocks and energy levels, not setting up too close to either set of parents, and romantic weekends away without the kids once a year.
What do you
reckon?
Well, I agree with some of those points, and I disagree with some also. I mean, for instance, meeting in an adventurous setting. I mean, there's many people that might meet in a cafe in Brazil and have a terrible relationship after that because they have high expectations. And another couple might meet at the nursery and have a wonderful relationship. So I don't know if that's particularly relative, for instance.
What about setting up too close to either set of parents?
Again, I have mixed feelings about that. If you have interfering parents, yes, some distance that would be necessary, for instance, if they won't honor your boundaries. But we need more of a support mechanism now in our culture, The extended family is less and less today. So quite often having, the family, close by can be very supportive. So it depends, again, on the circumstances.
And if you're close to the parents, that could help you with number 5 because you could get away without the kids.
Absolutely. The recreation, the trips away, I think, are vital. Recreation, keeps the passion in the relationship.
Yeah, these university professors said it's having an affair with each other once a year to have a weekend away together.
Now, I think it's important to keep that affair energy going within your relationship all the time. I don't believe in just taking one trip away during the year. My wife and I do it as often as we possibly can. And my son, we're teaching him when he gets to be older that he doesn't live just through the children. He also is going to have a life with his partner. I mean,
but with kids nowadays, sleep is the new sex, isn't it? That's what they're all saying. So if you can actually get a good rest at night,
what?
That's what I've heard. Have you heard that?
Sleep is the new sex.
Look,
yes.
I agree with you.
If you've got young kids, a few of them, that's what people are saying.
Yeah, especially in the first year. But after that, it's important to get away. Take a trip to Gosford during the day. Get the babysitter to pick up the kids from school. Have those romantic rendezvous. I think that's really important in their point there.
We've been having lots of people email in with their particular tips on how to keep the relationship alive, including Mike McQueen in Yamba. Now, Mike, what's your particular tip of a successful relationship?
Koshy, apart from everything else, I've been very, very happily married for the last 14 years. My tip is to enjoy, 10 or 15 minutes in the shower together every morning prior to work. We've got a very busy real estate agency in Yamba, and basically we don't get to see each other as often as we would like, and that's it's basically our boardroom.
So you book time in the shower. Do you find have you passed this on to other couples and found it works?
Not really. Actually, I shared it at the Board of Directors meeting in the First National Network a couple of weeks ago, and they sort of look a little bit horrified, but not really, no.
Well, particularly with water restrictions around Australia at the moment, you're actually, it's an environmental thing as well, isn't it, as relationships?
It is.
Yeah.
No, I think I recommend it to anyone.
Do you have kids, Mike?
Yes, we do. We have 2 boys, one 10 and one 13.
And of course, the only way to make sure kids never come near you is to even hint at being intimate with each other or be in the nude. And that sends kids away immediately, does it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, good luck on the door also.
Thank you very much. We hope you keep on
guys.
showering together and it keeps working, Mike.
Thank you.
Well, each to his own, Des, isn't it? You find out your special thing that you have to do.
Absolutely. I believe it's an individual process. I like that in the shower. He must have good locks on the doors. So
Yes, exactly. But it's back to time together, isn't
the
it?
kids never want to imagine
Yes.
that their parents are going
No.
to be intimate or in the nude or something like that. So I reckon he's got a great idea.
It's a good idea.
But it comes back to time together, finding time together, doesn't it?
Time together is the most important thing. And date night, once a week, I think is important. Michelle Pfeiffer says the secret to her relationship is she has Saturday night date night. And I believe that's really important. The ability to negotiate and compromise is important too, in keeping your commitments. We're going to have differences with our partner. So be willing to work through that. You want this, I want this, and let's come to a middle ground on that.
Now, about a year ago, you came in here talking about arguments and things like that in relationships, how to resolve them, and you brought in a talking stick, didn't you, with the
Yes,
book that you published?
I did, absolutely.
Well, I tried that at home.
How did that work for you?
Well, it worked all right the first time, but then as we used it more often, it became sort of more like a weapon, depending on who held it. So, but is that the thing, to give space to the other partner, giving their views?
The talking stick can work very effectively. You want me to briefly go over it
Yeah,
again?
I missed the talking
Let me
stick.
give you the talking stick here. For instance, if we have something we want to clear here, Natalie, I'll talk for up to 30 seconds. Now, while I'm talking, you have to zip it. You can't say a word.
Oh, I find that very, very hard.
But this is the key. This is the key. Now, when I'm finished saying my up to 30 seconds, I put the talking stick down on the table, and you have to mirror back to me or paraphrase what I just said to make sure you were listening. So you said this and this and this, and at the end of it, you say, is that right? If it's right, I say, yeah, that's right, that's what I said. Then you pick up the stick, I zip it, and we reverse the process, and I keep silent. Now, let's say that you weren't listening, for instance, because quite often we get very
Not
upset
that I
that our
wouldn't be,
partner's
but other people might not be
I can't
listening,
believe
yes.
you're saying that, and you're not paying attention. You say, oh, you said something like this. I say, no, that's not right, dear. Then I get to pick the stick up again. Now, you quickly learn to play the game, because I didn't want to hear my wife say it the first time, much less the second time. It forces you to tune in.
That's a
To
really good
listen,
idea.
there you go.
Some great tips.
Might have to
Des,
try
thank you
that.
for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you, David, Natalie.
Thank you.